Offer extended. Offer not accepted. This is Nelson with Nelson Radio, and you're challenged by today's rush to real estate, all combined with a concern that by the time you find your dream home, higher rates will price you out of the market. I've got the answer. With my mortgage market exclusive lock and shop rate guarantee, you can freeze today's low interest rates, shop for your new home, all with a peace of mind that your rate is waiting for you at the finish line. Call or click 888-888-2136 or click through on strongcreditrewards.com.
This is Be a Beast on Nelson Radio. You chose to be here. This is not by accident that you're here now and in this program. You want to take your performance to the highest level. You want to dominate. You physically work hard. Now that's important. Mentally, we're going to prepare you to have the kind of success that's available to you. Not just for some, but for you to live it fully. You can do it too. Enjoy this journey. This program is your secret weapon. Be a Beast on Nelson Radio.
And this is Be a Beast on Angels Radio, AM 830 with Nelson and Dave Austin, mental performance coach, myself, business leader and professional coach. You got to be reaching out to us as we train you on how to perform better, whether in the locker room or in the boardroom. Dave, we're all about improving our performance.
That's what it's all about. You know, every day you get up, it's a new day to even expand. Whatever you did yesterday is over, and that moves you right into today. And, you know, last week we learned about Deputus, the meerkat. We're using these animals. We bring in Roger out of the bush each week that ties it all together. So one word triggers you into that game ready, set, go.
And we're going to go into greater detail about that as we move through our show. It will be a dynamic show today. Reach out to us. You can contact us 3 different ways. Call, click, or text 888-888-2136. Click through at extremefocus.com, or simpler yet, text the word BEAST to 313131. And last week when we were talking about the meerkat, Roger Anthony, the founder of Be a Beast and the Learning Anchor System, he's training us how to perform in the moment.
Well, that's it. It's all about the moment. If we're looking over our shoulders what just happened, we're going to miss this moment, which might be the greatest moment of your life. Or if we're looking ahead, we'll miss this moment. So he has these different animals that triggers you to go right now, stay in this present moment.
And I love explaining these animals and training on these animals. We had Respa the crocodile, Mima and Lima the armadillo, and the most unsuspecting mind trigger of all, the flying fish, and how we talked about that, and Walt Disney.
Oh, absolutely. Walt Disney was a Nobo, the flying fish, which is there are no box, there is no boundaries,
right.
And Walt was a great example of that. You know, today's guest. Wait until we get into that. I'm so excited about Bill Bartmann coming on.
You know, one of the great things about the meerkat, Deputus, is the understanding that success, or failure for that matter, isn't on your own. It's not this go-it-alone environment. There is this community that's surrounding you. And it reminds me of when we had Billie Jean King on the program. We're going to have her back on the program, but when Billie Jean King was talking about her successes, and I asked her maybe the naive question that you've been the advanced scout, you've gone it alone, and she kind of stood me up and said, no. I've had an incredible network surrounding me. I happen to be the ambassador or the spokesperson of the whether it was her athletic career or now going to the Olympics and serving as our spokesperson for the United States, but she has this whole community of people that are around her.
Well, that's what the meerkat, which Roger will bring in again and go a little deeper on that. Deputus, the name of the meerkat, it connects you to that. The reason he uses the meerkat is because of the community around, that he doesn't, they don't do it all by themselves. They have a community that supports them, and they work in harmony together.
You're listening to Be a Beast on Angels Radio, AM 830. You can reach us at 888-888-2136 or simply text the word BEAST to 313131. The dynamic story, Dave, that we have to share today is looking at performance in the business world. We've been in the sports world. We've spoken with some incredible guests. The Iron Cowboy, someone that executed 30 full Ironmans across 11 countries in 1 year. I mean, it's unbelievable in its own. And then, all-pro fullback Lorenzo Neal, 3-time gold medalist Leah O'Brien, But as we kick off 2014, it's the moment of the resolution. I don't know what gym memberships skyrocket to at the beginning of the year,
well,
but it's the resolution.
Yeah, in January, that's when, if you're going to sell fitness equipment, you do it all in January. I hear something like 90%. But here's really interesting. A recent study revealed that the majority of resolutions heading into 2014 are financial resolutions. Get this. In 2013, 54% of Americans' savings and investments were outpaced by their debt, meaning that debt was growing faster than over half the population's ability or choice to save or invest.
We're going backwards.
Yeah, that's a recipe for failure. And that's exactly what our billionaire Bill Bartmann is going to coach us up on coming up. I mean, this is his whole life is an example of everything we do on this show. He's an amazing man. I'm just privileged to even call him a friend.
He reminds me in many ways. Now, I'm not a billionaire, but he reminds me of, in so many ways, of my testimony where I've faced no virtually at every corner, whether that's been professionally or personally or in my athletic endeavors. It's, no, you can't do this. No, you're not this. No, this. My wife asking her out. I think I asked her out 13 times in a row, and by the time I got to that 13th no, I felt like, I'm warming up here.
Well, Bill has a new book out called Bouncing Back. And everyone on this show, when you get the chance to hear Bill today, you got to go out and get this story. I mean, we're going to tell part of it, and it's going to pique your interest because there's a lot more in it, because this man has lived a full life in every aspect.
And a dynamic life, and dynamic not just by success stories. And I know that listeners, as you drive around, you hear another success story, and so often the reaction is, "Oh, great story, interesting, good for them." I'm trying to afford a Christmas tree. I'm trying to afford gas money to get to work. There's people out there following the Great Recession that are in a world of financial hurt, and I know my own reaction. I hear about somebody that wins the lotto. Good for them. I still have my things that I need to contend with.
Well, you know what, Bill, this is why I love having him on the show. He was broke. I mean, he was bankrupt. I mean, his story, at one point, he was living on the streets. So, we all have these reasons. Well, I can't do that. He might have done it, but I can't do it because of this or because of that. Bill just blows it right out of the box. He's no-bo thinking and going. He really shows that, it doesn't matter what your background is. It's what you are today and how you're going to live it fully. And he's a living example of that.
And this is exactly what our Be a Beast platform is removing those self-imposed governors, giving us those mind triggers so that we can perform at a moment's notice, in a nanosecond, and default back to Respa the Crocodile. Reach out to us. We're going to have Bill Bartmann coming up. Billionaire Bill Bartmann, 888-888-2136, or click through at extremefocus.com, or simply text the word BEAST to 313131. It's going to be an unbelievable show.
I can't wait.
Coming up next, Bill Bartmann.
Angels Radio, AM 830.
If something happened to you, would you want the government deciding who takes care of your kids or who will inherit your assets? Do you want your children paying thousands of dollars in legal fees to probate attorneys? Don't let your family fall victim to probate or online estate planning. Nelson Radio recommends taking action now with their trusted friends at O.C. Wills and Trust Attorneys. Not only do their experienced attorneys create a comprehensive estate plan for you, but unlike those other internet sites that are not law firms, they provide you expert legal advice to make sure your plan is designed for your specific situation. The most important people in your life deserve an estate plan done right. Call today for a free consultation. 949-424-5292. That's 949-424-5292. Professional legal direction to protect your family. Call O.C. Wills and Trust's attorney at 949-424-5292 or text O.C. Wills to 313131.
Do you ever want a secret weapon? Be a Beast training video is your weapon. From the locker room to the boardroom, success is not by accident. Performance is not by chance. You want to get your mind right? Perform at the highest level? Dominate your marketplace? Be a Beast training video is the answer. Mentally, we're going to prepare you to have the kind of success that's available for you to live it fully.
You can do it too. The Be a Beast training video is your secret weapon. 888-888-2136. Let me say that again. 888-888-2136 or text BEAST to 313131.
Ducks Radio AM 830 KLAA.
This is our Be a Beast series right here on AM 830 with my co-host Dave Austin, professional performance coach. You can reach us direct 888-888-2136 or click through at extremefocus.com or simply text the word BEAST to 313131. Dave, we can't make it any easier. I'm so excited to have Bill Bartmann coming up in this segment. And Bill has that system for success or the system for dealing with failure. And I just want to showcase this. It's the formula: higher self-esteem, less concerned about what others think, less afraid of failing, less fearful of taking risks. And that all leads to greater opportunity to succeed. It's sequential. One leads to the other.
The patron saint of second chance.
The patron saint of the second chance. We're going to find out more about that.
How you use failure to succeed.
And so with that, Bill Bartmann, welcome to the program.
Hey, guys. Good morning. Dave Nelson. It's good to be with you.
So how do you like that? The patron saint of the second chance. You got to tell us more about that.
Well, thank you. And let me tee this up appropriately because you talked about billionaire and success. And yes, I'm extremely proud of all the good work all of my great employees do to make all that happen. But I really want to spend some time today talking about failure and being on the wrong side of the tracks, because that's where everybody needs the help. You don't need help when you hit 9 zeros. You need help when you're at 1 0. And so this conversation today, if we could just focus on what goes wrong, what goes bump in the night, what kind of problems do we all face, and how do we deal with those issues and problems, that's what I'd love to do, because you are so kind to remember that Inc. magazine called me the patron saint of the second chance. And guys, that's because I've had so many second chances myself, which means I needed a second chance. If I had succeeded in the first chance, if I had done it right the first time, if everything had been perfect, if I had been so doggone smart that I got it right, I wouldn't have needed a second chance. But we all need second chances. And fortunately for me, I've had second chances. And that's what I think everybody on this call needs to come to grips with, is we're going to want and need second chances. And when they show up, we should take advantage of them and take that opportunity to be better the second time than we were the first time.
Let me ask you about that, because we've all had that spill onto the asphalt and come up with a big raspberry going, that stings. But first person, give us an example of something that you've experienced where you've worked your way through that.
My life has been about those kind of moments, growing up in a family of 8 kids on welfare and poverty, and leaving home when I was 14 and living on the street and eating out of a dumpster. That probably qualifies for not a good life. And then moving up and finally getting a GED and getting into college, and then applying to 47 law schools and getting rejected by all 47 of them. So Nelson, when you were talking in the last segment about your wife sometimes and some other things that go on in life where it just doesn't work the way you wanted, I applied to 47 law schools and got rejected by all 47 of them. And thank God I applied to number 48 and got accepted, then graduated and went on and became a lawyer. And you know the rest of the story of making some money. But it's about dealing with the crap that happens in your life. And every one of us, we have those moments where, whether it's our fault or somebody else's fault, doesn't make any difference. Things happen that we have to go deal with. So when Dave was talking about being in that moment, it is the moment of looking forward. It's not the moment of looking backwards. It's not trying to blame somebody. It's not trying to come up with an excuse. Instead, it's looking forward and dusting yourself off and, putting a Band-Aid on that raspberry you just talked about, Nelson, and saying, I can't change what just happened, but I can change what I'm about to go do. And that's where the magic is.
You're listening to Bill Bartmann on Be a Beast. You can reach us direct 888-888-2136 or click through at extremefocus.com.
Hey, Bill, I love the fact that one of the big clues here for you and for these listeners to hear is that failure doesn't always mean, it doesn't have to mean the end. You've used, in getting to know you, every time you've hit a road bump, call them whatever, a brick wall, whatever you want to call it, you've advanced. You've said, this is what I'm going to do. This is what it's going to keep me motivated to keep going forward. I mean, tell me, you were living on the street. I mean, didn't you even get involved in gangs at one time? I mean, what an example of someone who, give us a little bit of that from that start.
Sure. I was, like I said, I was one of 8 kids, and we grew up in a pretty dysfunctional family, and I don't say that in a bad way to my parents. I think they loved us as much as they knew how. They just didn't know how very well. And so at 14, I left home, and I didn't run away, and they didn't throw me out. I just left. It was that kind of a home life where you could just walk out and leave, and nobody went after you. Nobody said, oh, gee, let's have an Amber Alert for Bill. No, it was, I left. And I went out and lived on the street, ate out of a dumpster, did odd jobs, did everything, and ran away and joined a traveling carnival. Did that for 2 full years. And for the 2 years that I was a carny from 14 to 16, I learned a whole bunch of things that a 14-year-old boy shouldn't have to learn. And by 16, Dave, I decided I was going to upgrade, and I joined a street gang. And it wasn't the Hells Angels. It wasn't, anything quite that notorious. But for where I lived in that community, it was finally, for the first time in my life, a group of people actually had my back in a good way. And it was something that you don't look back at with pride and say, oh, gee, you're a drunk, you're a high school dropout, you're a gang member. I was a loser with a capital L, but fortunately for me, second chances do show up. And so no matter how bad your first chance was, the second chance has an opportunity to be just absolutely a skyrocket for you.
And here's where I want you to stay with us just for a couple more minutes. I have a question that I've got to ask you, and the listeners have to hear. You're listening to Be a Beast on Nelson Radio with performance coach Dave Austin and myself, Nelson, business leader and professional coach. 888-888-2136. Click through at extremefocus.com or simply text the word BEAST to 313131. Bill Bartmann coming up.
Ducks Radio AM 830, KLAA.
If something happened to you, would you want the government deciding who takes care of your kids or who will inherit your assets? Do you want your children paying thousands of dollars in legal fees to probate attorneys? Don't let your family fall victim to probate or online estate planning. Nelson Radio recommends taking action now with their trusted friends at O.C. Wills and Trust Attorneys. Not only do their experienced attorneys create a comprehensive estate plan for you, but unlike those other internet sites that are not law firms, they provide you expert legal advice to make sure your plan is designed for your specific situation. The most important people in your life deserve an estate plan done right. Call today for a free consultation. 949-424-5292. That's 949-424-5292. Professional legal direction to protect your family. Call O.C. Wills and Trust's attorney at 949-424-5292 or text O.C. Wills to 313131.
Do you ever want a secret weapon? Be a Beast training video is your weapon. From the locker room to the boardroom, success is not by accident. Performance is not by chance. You want to get your mind right? Perform at the highest level? Dominate your marketplace? Be a Beast training video is the answer. Mentally, we're going to prepare you to have the kind of success that's available for you to live it fully. You can do it too. The Be a Beast training video is your secret weapon. 888-888-2136. Let me say that again. 888-888-2136 or text BEAST to 313131.
Ducks Radio AM 830, KLAA.
This is Be a Beast on Angels Radio AM 830. I'm with mental performance coach Dave Austin, myself, Nelson. Call, click, or text 888-888-2136, extremefocus.com, or the easiest of all, simply text the word BEAST to 313131. We're moving into our segment with Roger Anthony coming out of the bush, but I asked Bill to stay with us, Bill Bartmann. And Bill, I just wanted to tee up again that being at the summit, the top of the peaks, down to the valley floor, and then back up, you've had all sorts of those examples, those testimonies in your life. But I want you to share with us the community, which is really what describes the Meerkat, the community of people that surrounded you through that journey.
Well, absolutely. I'm happy to do that. And from peaks to valleys, I have been the 25th wealthiest person in America. I have also been the 25th brokest person in America. So trust me, I've seen both ends of that extreme. And my community is an ever-evolving group of people, but it starts with three basic principles: faith, family, and friends. And irrespective of your religious beliefs, you can have faith of whatever kind, size, shape, color you happen to subscribe to, and I don't care. I'm not here to encourage somebody to go one direction or another, but acknowledge that you have some, because that's going to help you during that moment of second chance. And family, obviously, the more of those people that are around you, the better, and the easier it is for you to absorb the losses and suffer through the trauma of whatever the failure might have been, because these are people that love you in spite of that. They don't care the fact that you failed. And true friends, maybe you end up with only one. In 2002, I went through the most severe challenge of my entire life, and that year I received one Christmas card, one. And I carry that Christmas card with me every single day of my life. It's in my briefcase right now as we speak today. And I on that day, I had one friend. Now, some people say, well, gee, Bill, didn't you used to have thousands of friends, and shouldn't we measure how many you lost? I say, no, measure how many I still had.
Half glass or half full, that makes total sense.
Oh, absolutely. My glass is always full. It's half water, half air, but full.
Bill, thanks for staying with us. I just wanted the listeners to share that with you. And David, tease up Roger so well for the Meerkat, what we're going to look at today in our next step in this mental performance and the sense of community.
Amen to that. And Bill, thank you. And Bouncing Back, you've got to get the book. If you go to Amazon, Bouncing Back by Bill Bartmann, the full story is revealed. And we just love that. So now we're going to bring on Roger. Come on out of the bush. Let's anchor this whole message today, Roger.
Yeah, thanks, Dave Nelson, and lovely to be on the show with you too, Bill. What a great way of being able to introduce the power of community, and to be able to work in cooperation, collaboration, and community, especially in this fast-paced world. Well, the Meerkat is renowned for its ability to survive under the most extreme conditions. It's challenged every day. They are so organized, and their survival over the centuries has depended on their ability to work together in a community. The name of our Meerkat is Deputus, D-E-P-U-T-I-S. And when we have a down or when we're on our ups, one of the most important things is to never lose sight of your goals, your ultimate goal, your ultimate mission, and your ultimate purpose on planet Earth. So DE in Deputus stands for clearly describe and never lose sight of the vision of who you are, what you're capable of, where you're going, and how you're going to get there. So DE for Deputus, and PU is for the purpose. The purpose gives you the value. If you lose the purpose or the value, you lose the motivation to achieve. That's why having family, friends, and faith on your side, it keeps you focused on that purpose that drives you forward and helps you get up every time you get knocked down. So describe it clearly, what it is you want to achieve. Never lose sight of it. What is the purpose for the achievement and how it's going to help your life, your family, your friends, etc. And the TI in Deputus is the timing. When am I going to start this? When am I going to finish it? The mind is a goal-seeking mechanism, and it's driven forward by a timeline. And the S is the strategy, the way you go about doing it. So Deputus the Meerkat does it all in community and never loses sight of where it's heading and what it's capable of.
Roger, I got to ask this question. Real world, let's say I'm maybe where Bill was, working in the Carney, and maybe not a high point in my life, and this trigger word, if I simply just state that trigger word in my mind, Deputus, that's going to snap me back to the ultimate goal, the value of the goal, understanding the start and finish, reminding myself of that, and then refocusing on the process of how to get there.
Absolutely correct. And the great thing about it, when you're in your down times, really when you come out of them, that's when you've learnt your greatest lessons. And that gives you more power to focus back on your Deputus. But you are right, exactly. It's a trigger, and it keeps you focused, and it helps you extract the learning in the tough times, because we learn the most in our toughest challenges.
Dave, this is where the rubber meets the road.
Well, absolutely.
And here we're coming out of the Great Recession, right? We talked about at the beginning of this, 54% of Americans, their debt is growing faster than their savings and their investments. They're going backwards. We're all going backwards in that context. And so now having that ability to refocus.
Well, that's what it's all about. We have a choice, and most people don't. They give up their choice. You have a choice to use your conditions or create your conditions from the inside out. That's something that Bill Bartmann is a fantastic example of. And when you say a trigger word like deputist, it can bring you right back. Doesn't matter what you're going through. Every single thing that happens in this moment, you can choose to use it to your advantage and take that adversity or that setback and turn it into a big win.
And here's a great segue to Operation Homefront, what we showcase at the end of each of our Be a Beast programs. And this is our returning veterans, our military personnel, our wounded warriors. And this program, Operation Homefront, set up so that they can move into a home entirely refurbished, be responsible for the taxes, insurance, and maintenance on the property. And at the end of 12 to 18 months, coming out of perhaps tragic environment, this home is awarded to them free and clear. Is that not deputist?
That's it. They go out there, serve our country, and now they're faced with the challenges of coming back, and now they're given this gift that was someone else might have failed on it, but this is turning something that appears negative into a big win.
Yeah, it's been unbelievable to hear these testimonies. Bill Bartmann, Roger Anthony coaching us. This is Be a Beast on Angels Radio, AM 830 with Dave Austin, mental performance coach, myself, Nelson, business leader and professional coach. You need to reach out to us and learn this anchor system, this 12-step process to be a beast. You can reach us direct, 888-888-2136. That's 888-888-2136. We're going to be back next week with Bill Bartmann as well and just dive a little bit deeper with his story. It's an incredible story. Be a Beast on Nelson Radio.
Offer extended. Offer not accepted. This is Nelson with Nelson Radio, and you're challenged by today's rush to real estate, all combined with a concern that by the time you find your dream home, higher rates will price you out of the market. I've got the answer. With my Mortgage Market exclusive lock and shop rate guarantee, you can freeze today's low interest rates, shop for your new home, all with a peace of mind that your rate is waiting for you at the finish line. Call or click 888-888-2136 or click through on strongcreditrewards.com.